Alright, buckle up because the internet just served us the most batshit crazy thing I've seen this year. We have to talk about this video from Turkey. Seriously, if you haven't seen it, pause this, go search Pikachu protester versus the police, and then come back. Or just listen to me paint this glorious picture.
Oh, I think I saw something about that. Wasn't it during a protest? Quite a serious situation, actually. They were protesting the jailing of an opposition mayor in Istanbul.
Exactly, serious political shit, right? Riot police, angry crowds. And then out of fucking nowhere, this absolute legend appears in a giant inflatable Pikachu costume. And the video? It's just this massive Pikachu bouncing down the street, trying to escape the cops in full riot gear. I swear, I almost pissed myself laughing. It's pure, unadulterated comedy gold.
I saw the clip. From an attention economics standpoint, it's genius. Existencial You couldn't design a more viral image if you tried. A beloved global character versus state authority. That's eyeballs guaranteed.
It is a striking juxtaposition, isn't it? The gravity of protesting political imprisonment set against the levity, the sheer unexpectedness of a cartoon character. It feels jarring, almost disrespectful to the core issue, perhaps.
Disrespectful? Or maybe just fucking brilliant. What kind of glorious chaos goblin wakes up, sees a potentially dangerous political protest on the schedule, and thinks, you know what this needs me? In an inflatable Pikachu suit. That's the energy I aspire to. Pure rebellion with a side of WTF.
Right, because nothing says serious political dissent, like looking like you escaped a Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade float that took a wrong turn into a riot. But Kiki has a point about the rebellion aspect, however nonsensical, and the internet ate it up. Your meme factories went into overdrive instantly. AI image generators were spitting out pictures of Pikachu leading armies, Pikachu facing down tanks, Pikachu looking like some kind of electric Che Guevara. The speed at which that visual narrative was created and disseminated was incredible. Pure digital wildfire.
Oh my god, yes, the memes were insane. My favorite was the classic, they have an army, we have a Pikachu. It's so stupid, it loops back around to being profound. People were genuinely rallying behind this inflatable goofball online.
It's fascinating how symbols emerge in the digital age. Pikachu, a character designed for entertainment, momentarily transformed into this icon of resistance, however accidentally. It's like a piece of modern folklore being written in real time via memes and shares. A digital deity born from absurdity.
Okay, folklore, fine. But let's be real. Does a guy in a Pikachu suit actually help the protesters' cause? Or does it just turn a serious fight for political freedom into a global joke? Does Pikachu distract from the jailed mayor?
Who gives a flying fuck if it distracts? Maybe distraction is the point. How much press was that protest getting before Pikachu showed up? Probably zero outside Turkey. Now, the whole world is talking about it. Okay, maybe they're laughing, but they're looking. Sometimes dress as a giant yellow rat to get people to notice the fucking bill.
But notice what, Kiki? Do they notice the political injustice? Or just the funny Pokemon? There's a danger that the spectacle completely overshadows the substance, the medium becoming the message and the message being, well, inflatable Pikachu. It risks trivializing real human struggle.
The law's right about the risk of trivialization. From a strategic perspective, it's high risk, high reward. You get massive global attention, unprecedented reach, but the quality of that attention is questionable. Are people engaging with the political issue or just sharing a funny video? It could easily backfire, make the whole movement look silly.
Backfire? Or just be punk rock as hell, doing the unexpected? Pissing off the establishment, using their own pop culture against them? Sounds pretty effective to me. Better than chanting slogans nobody hears.
And the role of AI in this can't be understated. It wasn't just the original video. It was the immediate proliferation of derivative content, those heroic AI Pikachu images Ayla mentioned. AI tools allowed anyone to instantly participate in crafting this narrative, amplifying the absurdity and the symbolism exponentially. It's a feedback loop of viral content creation.
It does feel like we're entering a strange territory where reality, political action, digital fantasy, and AI generation all blend together. What's real? What's a meme? Does the distinction even matter anymore if it captures attention and shapes perception? It's profoundly unsettling in a quiet way.
Unsettling? Ayla, it's fucking hilarious. It perfectly sums up the glorious clusterfuck of the modern internet. Serious global issues colliding head-on with the dumbest, most wonderful parts of pop culture. What a time to be alive.
Indeed, the pinnacle of human achievement. Political discourse mediated by inflatable cartoon characters and amplified by algorithms. Future historians will have a field day.
You bet they will. So the big question is, what costume are we wearing to the next protest? I call dibs on a giant inflatable Kirby. Imagine that rolling towards the riot shields.
I think I'd rather stay home and observe the ensuing digital folklore from a safe distance, perhaps with a glass of wine.
I'd probably just analyze the ROI of the costume choice versus potential bail costs. Kirby's brand recognition is strong, but the aerodynamic profile is terrible for escaping. Pikachu is probably a better choice for speed. Practicality matters, even in absurdist protest.
Okay, settle down, team. Next up, we're diving headfirst into the internet's latest favorite pastime. Freaking the fuck out about World War III. Seriously, you can't scroll for 5 minutes without seeing some variation of OMG, are we gonna die? Or #WI trending. It's everywhere. What's the deal?
It's a reflection of the ambient anxiety, isn't it? There's a pervasive feeling of instability. The war in Ukraine hasn't ended. Tensions between global powers feel like they're simmering constantly. The conflict in the Middle East. It all feeds into this collective sense of dread. People feel it in the air.
It's definitely shifted. What used to be fringe conspiracy chatter or late-night dorm room speculation is now mainstream. Every geopolitical hiccup, every slightly aggressive statement from a world leader immediately fuels this massive online discussion. The signal-to-noise ratio is atrocious, frankly.
Right? Like 1 minute you're watching cat videos, the next it's some thread about nuclear flashpoints. So, what specific dumpster fires are fueling this particular wave of panic?
The brief mentions the obvious ones, the ongoing war in Ukraine. Of course, with the constant underlying fear of escalation, maybe involving NATO directly. Then there's the persistent tension between the US, China, and Russia, the classic great power rivalry playing out, and the Israel-Hamas conflict, which always carries the risk of broader regional or even global entanglement. It feels like multiple fuses are lit.
Oh, absolutely. Lit fuses everywhere. But let's be rational for a second. Are these situations actually pointing towards an imminent global conflict on the scale of World War I or II? Or is it more localized instability being amplified by the internet's echo chamber? While the risk is undeniably higher than, say, 10 years ago, a leap to whiz tomorrow is often driven by emotion. Yomi aimed at strategic reality. Direct conflict between major nuclear powers is still something everyone desperately wants to avoid, mostly for self-preservation. Doesn't mean accidents can't happen.
So you're saying we can probably finish our season passes before the nukes fly? Good to know, Nina. Very reassuring. But speaking of terrifying symbols, people are apparently losing their minds over the doomsday clock again. What's the deal with that creepy thing?
The doomsday clock. It's quite poignant, really. Created after World War II by scientists who worked on the atomic bomb, the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists. It's meant to symbolize how close humanity is to self-annihilation, primarily through nuclear war, but now also climate change and disruptive technologies. Midnight represents catastrophe.
And currently, it's set at 89 seconds to midnight. That's the closest it has ever been. The bulletin explicitly cites Russia's war in Ukraine and the thinly veiled threats of nuclear weapon use as a major driver for that setting. They also factor in the lack of progress on climate change and the risks posed by AI and biological threats. It's a holistic assessment of existential risk.
89 seconds? Jesus, that's like barely enough time to pick a filter for my apocalypse selfie. Does anyone online even get that it's symbolic? Or do they think there's some sweaty scientist literally about to hit a giant red button when the timer runs out?
Judging by the online reactions, many seem to take it far too literally. It gets shared as proof that the end is nigh, fueling the exact panic Allah mentioned. It's effective symbolism, perhaps too effective in the age of viral misinformation. People see closest ever, and their brains jump straight to the worst case scenario.
Which is exactly why this whole with thing explodes online constantly, right? It's terrifying objectively, but the internet just loves to marinate in fear.
Precisely, fear is a powerful engagement driver. Combine genuine geopolitical anxiety with the internet's ability to amplify emotion and add a dash of morbid curiosity, and you get a recurring viral phenomenon. Every international incident, every missile test, every diplomatic spat triggers the algorithm, and suddenly, YERRR is trending again. It's a feedback loop of anxiety.
Oh yeah, remember when that whole thing with Iran happened a while back? Twitter was a goddamn meltdown for 48 hours. Everyone was convinced they were getting drafted by morning. Then, nothing. The internet just moved on to the next panic.
It's true. Google search trends spiked dramatically after major events. The invasion of Ukraine saw a massive global surge in searches for World War III. The same happened during recent escalations in the Middle East. Social media platforms like TikTok and YouTube become flooded with speculative content ranging from serious analysis to, well, teenagers planning their draft dodging strategies.
Don't forget the memes. My God, the Y memes are a genre unto themselves. You've got the pub, you get drafted for WWIII TikToks, the starter packs, the jokes about fighting alongside influencers. It's dark, but honestly, some of it is fucking hilarious.
It's a coping mechanism, I suppose. Facing something so vast and terrifying, perhaps humor is the only way the human spirit can process it without shutting down completely, especially for younger generations who've grown up with overlapping crises, climate change, pandemics, economic uncertainty, and now this constant drumbeat of potential war. It's a way to feel some control, even if it's just through laughter.
Or maybe it's just trivializing something incredibly serious. There's a fine line. Is joking about nuclear apocalypse a healthy way to manage existential dread? Or does it desensitize us to the actual horrors of war? Does it make it harder to take the real threats seriously when they're buried under layers of irony? I lean towards the latter. It feels unproductive, maybe even dangerous.
Unproductive, Nina? Sometimes laughing is the only thing that stops you from crying or screaming. It doesn't mean people don't get the seriousness, it's just surviving the daily bullshit of knowing this is hanging over us.
Fair enough, but alongside the memes, you also have this serious content trying to cut through. News outlets rush out explainers, geopolitical analysts drop Twitter threads dissecting troop movements or treaty implications, trying to provide clarity.
And those often go viral too, because people are genuinely desperate for answers. They want someone credible to tell them what's really going on, how worried they should actually be. That thirst for clarity in the face of fear is powerful.
Yeah, you get the contrast. Some super serious dude in a suit explaining NATO Article 5 right next to a TikTok of someone doing a Fortnite dance while pretending to dodge drone strikes. The internet is chaos, man. Pure, beautiful chaos.
Which brings us to the core debate, doesn't it? Is all this online chatter, this constant why speculation, a form of responsible public awareness? Are we collectively waking up to genuine dangers, as things like the doomsday clock suggest?
Or is it largely irresponsible fear-mongering, creating unnecessary panic, fostering fatalism, especially among young people who feel powerless? Does constantly trending why make us more prepared or just more anxious and susceptible to manipulation? I argue it's mostly the latter. Panic is not a strategy.
So where's the line? How do you stay informed without spiraling into a bunker building frenzy fueled by memes and Twitter experts? Is it even possible anymore?
It requires critical thinking, which seems to be in short supply, and you absolutely have political actors exploiting these fears. How many times have we heard partisans accuse their opponents of dragging us to the brink of World War III? Is a potent, fear-based political weapon used to rally support or discredit adversaries? It hijacks genuine anxiety for political gain? It's cynical as hell.
And then there's the insensitivity aspect of the humor. While some find the memes cathartic, imagine being someone from Ukraine or Gaza or any place actively experiencing conflict, seeing people elsewhere casually joking about a global war that could obliterate their reality. It must feel incredibly jarring, even offensive. It highlights a disconnect between lived experience and detached online commentary.
Okay, point taken. Ayla, maybe my Y Bunker playlist needs a sensitivity reader, but come on, isn't dark humor a universal coping thing? Gen Z didn't invent it. People have been making grim jokes in terrible times forever. Maybe the pearl clutchers just need to lighten up a bit, or is that too much?
Beyond the ethical debate, there's the practical problem of misinformation. This high anxiety environment is fertile ground for fake news. Do we constantly see bogus stories about imminent drafts, false alarms about nuclear strikes, doctored images of troop movements, all designed to sow panic or push an agenda? They spread like wildfire because they tap into existing fears.
And debunking them becomes a constant, exhausting battle for legitimate news sources and authorities. By the time a correction is issued, the false information has already done its damage, amplifying anxiety and eroding trust. It's incredibly difficult to navigate that information landscape responsibly.
Oh man, I saw one the other day claiming aliens were going to intervene to start World War III because humanity was getting too boring. Honestly, at this point, I wouldn't even be surprised. Bring on the alien-fueled apocalypse, I guess?
Please don't give them ideas, Cheeky. The reality is messy enough without adding extraterrestrial warmongers to the mix.
All right. So, wrapping this cheerful topic up, it seems like this whole WWIII online freakout is this unholy cocktail of genuine fear from very real global tensions. The internet's ability to turn anything into a viral meme fest, and a whole lot of people just trying to figure out how scared they should actually be.
Perhaps the healthiest way to process it is to acknowledge the real risks without succumbing to paralyzing fear. Stay informed through credible sources, but also cultivate inner peace. Tend to your own garden, connect with loved ones, find beauty in the everyday. Don't let the shadow of potential catastrophe eclipse the light of the present moment.
And practically speaking, curate your information diet. Don't doom scroll. Verify sources before sharing panic-inducing headlines. Understand the difference between speculative chatter and confirmed fact. And maybe, just maybe, log off occasionally. The world will likely still be here when you get back. Probably.
All right, buckle up, because the internet has served up another slice of pure, unadulterated insanity. You guys heard about this fitness influencer, Ashton Hall?
I think the name rings a bell, but I try to avoid the more intense corners of the fitness world online. What's he done now?
Ashton Hall? Vaguely, usually associated with that hyper-optimized, grind-set niche, right? Let me guess. Another miracle supplement nor impossible workout?
Oh, it's so much better than that. He dropped his morning routine video. And when I say morning, I mean morning. The man wakes up at 3:52 a.m. Not 3:55, 3:52.
3:52? That's not morning, that's still the dead of night. What possesses someone to do that voluntarily?
Exactly. And it gets wilder. First thing, rips off mouth tape. Apparently it's to stop snoring, which, okay, whatever floats your boat. But then immediately no coffee, no checking his phone, straight into push-ups.
3:52 a.m. push-ups? Sounds like peak performance. My muscles are usually still contemplating existence at that hour.
Right? Then at 3:54 a.m., he's journaling motivational quotes. 2 minutes later, 3:56 a.m. ice, water, face, dunk. Number 1.
Dimmer one? Implying there are more?
Oh yes. At 40 am sharp, he does another ice water face dunk, then more push-ups 5 minutes later, then more journaling. It's like a psychotic Groundhog Day loop before the sun's even thought about rising.
Okay, breaking this down from a practical standpoint, the fragmented activities seem incredibly inefficient. Switching between intense physical exertion, mindfulness, and shocking your system with ice water every few minutes? It sounds neurologically jarring.
It feels less like a routine and more like a performance piece, like he's ticking boxes for an unseen audience, proving his commitment second by second.
And we haven't even gotten to the really good stuff. This is all just the pregame warm-up. Ala, you mentioned the later details from the summary I sent.
Ah yes, after the initial flurry, he apparently fits in 2 separate workouts, like a full gym session and something else, maybe cardio, plus swimming, and then the piece de resistance, rubbing a banana peel in his face for skincare.
The banana peel. I fucking can't. Is that even a thing? It sounds sticky and gross.
Banana peel skincare. Move over, Lemaire. Clearly. We've all been wasting our money on scientifically formulated serums when rotting fruit waste was the answer all along. You can practically smell the venture capital funding lining up for that one.
Seriously? The internet immediately called bullshit. People were like, this is not life, comedy gold, just roasting the absolute hell out of him. This video has like 40 million views already.
It taps into that vein of absurdity, doesn't it? The hyper-optimization taken to such an extreme that it becomes parody. It's a reflection of that relentless online pressure to perform productivity.
And the performance aspect is key. Did anyone notice the type of water he used for the ice dunks?
Type of water? Ice is ice, right? Frozen tap water?
Oh no, my dear Kiki. Not for Mr. 352M Grindset. According to the reports, he specifically used Saratoga bottled water.
Shut up, bottled water for dunking his face in ice? He didn't even drink it?
Saratoga, isn't that the one in the fancy blue glass bottles? That feels performatively extravagant.
Exactly. Ollie, you get it. This isn't just water, it's a brand whose detail screams product placement, or at the very least, a deliberate attempt to signal luxury and meticulousness, even in the most ridiculous context. He's not just dunking his face, he's curating an image. Using tap water wouldn't have the same visual impact or aspirational absurdity for the algorithm. Saratoga must be fucking thrilled with the free publicity.
Oh my god, that makes it 10 times funnier and 10 times sadder. Imagine the pitch meeting. Okay, Ashton, for the face dunk scene, we need maximum engagement. Use the fancy blue bottled water. It's so pathetic.
It highlights how blurred the lines are between authentic living and content creation. Is he doing this because he genuinely believes dunking his face in expensive bottled water at 4 a.m. improves his life, or because it makes for a viral, shareable, potentially sponsored moment?
I'm leaning heavily towards the latter. Unless Saratoga water contains microscopic diamonds that exfoliate upon impact, using it over tap water is purely for show. It's genius in a cynical marketing way.
And the memes, people are losing it. My favorite one said something like, bro literally scheduled breathing at 4:17 a.m. It perfectly captures how robotic and inhuman the whole schedule feels.
That's the core of the humor, isn't it? The complete lack of spontaneity or joy. Life reduced to a series of timed, optimized, and often bizarre tasks. It's hustle culture eating itself.
Jimmy, which brings us to the big debate online. Is this guy an inspiration for his discipline, or is it just ridiculous fakery for clicks? I can see elements of discipline here. The sheer willpower to get up that early is something. Maybe someone finds motivation in seeing that level of structure, even if it's exaggerated.
But discipline towards what? Is the goal genuine well-being, or is it the appearance of peak performance? True self-improvement often involves rest, flexibility, connection things. This schedule seems designed to eliminate. It feels more like a performance of control, driven perhaps by insecurity or the need for external validation, rather than a path to inner peace or actual health.
Oh, come on. It's 100% ridiculous fakery. This isn't discipline. It's a circus act. Nobody functions like this long-term without becoming a sleep-deprived, obsessive lunatic rubbing banana peels on their face. He's doing it for the views, the clicks, the potential sponsorships like that stupid fucking water brand. It's hustle culture porn, plain and simple.
I wouldn't dismiss the discipline entirely, Kiki, even if the application is absurd. Building a brand often involves creating a distinct, memorable persona. His product is this extreme routine. It's differentiation. Is it healthy? Probably not. Is it potentially effective branding in a saturated market? Maybe. You got 40 million views after all.
But that's the insidious nature of this online grindset culture Nina mentions. It equates extreme, often performative, busyness with worthiness. It preys on the feeling that you're not doing enough unless you're optimizing every second, documenting it, and preferably monetizing it. It's exhausting just witnessing it.
Seriously, why does every moment need to be a productivity hack or content opportunity? Can't people just live? Wake up, have coffee, maybe stare at a wall for 5 minutes without journaling a goddamn motivational quote? This dude makes relaxing feel like a crime.
Let's talk sustainability. Waking up before 4 a.m. consistently disrupts natural circadian rhythms. Where's the deep REM sleep? Where's the recovery time between 2 workouts and swimming before 9 a.m.? Even if he naps later, chronic sleep deprivation has serious consequences. Cognitive decline, hormonal imbalances, weakened immunity. This routine, if actually followed daily, is a recipe for burnout, injury, or worse. It's simply not biologically sustainable for most humans.
Exactly. There's a profound difference between building genuine, lasting habits that nourish you and these intense, short-term bursts designed primarily for online consumption. One builds resilience, the other often leads to a crash. It feels like he's sprinting a marathon for the cameras.
And can we just circle back to the banana peel? I mean, what the actual fuck? Out of all the bizarre shit in this routine, that's the one that sends me. Was he out of Saratoga water for his face and just grabbed the nearest compost?
It's a content hook. Weird works online. Banana peel skincare is memorable, shareable, and generates comments, positive or negative. Engagement is engagement, algorithmically speaking. It might be the smartest part of the routine, even if it's dermatologically dubious.
So final verdict, inspiring guru or clown show? I'm firmly planting my flag in the clown show camp. It's entertaining as hell, pure meme fuel, but absolutely nothing to aspire to unless your goal is to become a viral spectacle of performative suffering.
I see it as a masterclass in personal branding through calculated absurdity. He's carved out a niche by being the most extreme morning routine guy. It's less about health, more about visibility. Whether that's admirable or alarming is subjective, but it's undeniably strategic. He played the game and won, at least in terms of views.
For me, it's a poignant, if ridiculous, snapshot of our current moment. This relentless pressure to optimize, perform, and broadcast our lives, often sacrificing genuine well-being for the appearance of it. It makes you wonder what we're all really chasing when a man rubbing a banana peel on his face at dawn becomes a global phenomenon. It's less about him and more about what his virality says about us.
All right, let's shift gears from whatever the hell we were just talking about. Brace yourselves, because now we're diving into the feel-good hit list of the year. The world's least happy countries, fun times.
The global misery index. It's morbidly fascinating, isn't it? Why we seem more drawn to rankings of suffering than rankings of joy. It says something profound and perhaps a little unsettling about us.
Fascinating, Allah. I find it reductive. Who even compiles this? And based on what? Asking people, rate your crippling despair on a scale of 1 to 10? There's a methodology must be questionable at best.
Exactly. It's like congratulations. You're officially the shittiest place to live, according to some dudes with boards. But seriously, this list gets way more clicks than the happy one. Misery loves company. And apparently misery loves clicks too.
It's true. The headlines are always stark. The world's most miserable places. It catches the eye because it taps into that darker curiosity, maybe even a sense of relief that it's not us.
Okay, so top or rather bottom of the pops. Drum roll please, Afghanistan. Again, shocker, right? Like, water is wet, the sky is blue, and Afghanistan is having a shit time.
Well, the report cites the obvious factors. Ongoing conflict, the humanitarian crisis exacerbated by the Taliban's return, complete instability. It's not surprising, but the data quantifies a reality we already intellectually grasp. Your numbers just make the suffering starker, more undeniable.
Decades of turmoil condensed into a single rank. It feels almost disrespectful to the depth of suffering there. Quantifying misery seems inadequate.
Yeah, it's grim as fuck. And they're not alone down there in the dumps. The list is basically a who's who of places the world seems to have forgotten. We're talking Lebanon, Sierra Leone, Lesotho, the DRC. You get the picture? It's a real party at the bottom.
Lebanon? That one truly breaks my heart. Seeing a country that was once relatively prosperous descend into such chaos because of economic collapse, corruption, that devastating explosion. It's a stark reminder of how fragile progress can be. It shows how quickly things can unravel.
It's a pattern. Look at the bottom 10: Afghanistan, Lebanon, Lesotho, Sierra Leone, DRC, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Malawi, Swatini, Zambia. The common denominators are glaring, crippling poverty, political instability, often conflict or its aftermath, and systemic governance failures. It's less about individual happiness and more about the absolute failure of state structures and economies.
So basically, places where your biggest worry isn't your gluten intolerance, but like actual survival. Got it. But why does this specific list blow up online every year? Why are people smashing that share button? for global misery.
Perhaps it's a jolt to our collective conscience, a counterpoint to the curated perfection we often see online. People share with comments like heartbreaking or we need to do more. There's a mix of empathy, maybe some guilt and definite alarm. It forces a confrontation with global inequality.
Oh, it's simpler than that. Tragedy trends, bad news travels fast, especially when it confirms preconceived notions about certain parts of the world. It's shareable, easily digestible outrage or pity. Plus, it makes people in marginally less shitty situations feel comparatively better about their own lives. Misery tourism from your armchair.
Misery tourism? Damn, Nina, that's dark, but kind of rings true. Is it just slacktivism then? Sharing a list and feeling like you've done your part?
Often, yes, awareness is step one. But turning viral clicks into tangible aid or policy change, that's a much harder conversion. Social media engagement rarely translates directly into meaningful action, especially for complex geopolitical issues. It's mostly noise.
But sometimes that noise can reach the right ears, can't it? Spark conversations that lead to pressure for change. It feels cynical to dismiss it entirely.
Okay, let's talk labels. Calling an entire country least happy or most miserable, isn't that kind of fucked up? Like slapping a giant loser sticker on millions of people?
It absolutely is reductive. It paints diverse populations with a single brushstroke of despair. It ignores the resilience, the moments of joy, the culture, the sheer humanity that exists, even in the most difficult circumstances. People aren't statistics. They live complex lives. To label them solely by their suffering feels dehumanizing.
From a data perspective, happiness is an incredibly nebulous metric, especially cross-culturally. Are they measuring life satisfaction, emotional state, economic security? And how reliable is that data coming out of active war zones or countries with repressive regimes? Gathering honest answers under duress is fundamentally flawed.
Yeah, I bet the Taliban were super helpful filling out those happiness surveys. Excuse me, sir. While you're fleeing for your life, could you rate your overall well-being? Get the fuck out of here. Who believes this shit is accurate?
Precisely. Data collection in places like Afghanistan, DRC, or even Lebanon right now is fraught with challenges. Access is limited, safety is a concern, and people might not feel free to express genuine unhappiness for fear of repercussions. The numbers might reflect the tip of the iceberg or be skewed entirely.
What about the countries not on the list? You read it and think, surely Syria should be there, or Yemen, but often they're missing, presumably because reliable data is impossible to collect. So the list isn't even a complete picture of global suffering, just the suffering we can measure. It highlights blind spots.
So it's basically the measurably miserable list. Catchy?
Effectively, it's a snapshot based on available, potentially flawed, useful as a starting point for discussion perhaps, but dangerous if taken as absolute truth or a comprehensive ranking of global well-being.
Still, people are using this viral moment. Advocates point to these rankings to plead for more humanitarian aid, for policy changes, for international attention on forgotten crises. They use the starkness of the numbers to try and shake the world out of complacency.
Commendable, but often futile. Throwing money at corrupt regimes or unstable regions without addressing the root causes bad governance. Conflict, lack of economic opportunity is like putting a band-aid on a bullet wound. Aid gets siphoned off, initiatives fail. YERRR awareness doesn't magically solve entrenched systemic problems. Sometimes it just salves the conscience of the donors.
Or maybe the powerful countries, like having these miserable places, keeps resources cheap, provides a contrast to make their own citizens feel grateful, justifies interventions. Just saying, maybe constant misery elsewhere serves a purpose for some. Little bit of conspiracy, maybe, but makes you think.
That's a deeply cynical view, Kiki, but the persistence of these inequalities does make one wonder about the global structures that perpetuate them. Is there genuine will for universal well-being, or just pockets of charity?
YERRR exists in rhetoric, less so inconsistent. Effective action that challenges vested interests or requires significant sacrifice from wealthier nations. YERRR reports highlight symptoms, but rarely force a reckoning with the underlying disease of global inequality and political failure.
So the takeaway is the list is fucked up, probably inaccurate, definitely depressing, but people love to click on it anyway. And maybe, just maybe, it occasionally makes someone somewhere give a damn for 5 minutes. Grim.
It's a reflection of a world grappling with immense suffering and our often inadequate ways of understanding and responding to it, but even in acknowledging that darkness, perhaps there's value in not turning away completely. Resilience often shines brightest in the darkest places.
Ultimately, these rankings are a crude tool. Economic indicators, governance scores, and conflict metrics probably tell a more reliable, albeit less emotionally resonant story. Happiness is personal. Systemic failure is measurable. Let's focus on the failures.
All right, buckle up, weirdos, because I've got a story that sounds like it crawled out of the deepest, darkest corner of the internet, but it's actually courtesy of pop royalty Jessica Simpson. So you know Jessica Simpson, right? Singer, actress, fashion mogul. Well, apparently, she's now adding snake semen connoisseur to her resume.
Wait, snake what now? Kiki, did I just hear you right?
Snake semen? Is that even a thing people talk about, let alone consume? My mind is reeling.
Oh, it's a thing now. She went on Instagram, bold as brass, and basically credited her silky singing voice to some kind of syrupy potion made from, yes, snake sperm. She even laughed and said it tastes like honey.
Okay, hold on. Snake sperm. That sounds biologically improbable and frankly disgusting. Is this a joke? It has to be a publicity stunt.
There's a strange dissonance there. The venomous creature, the source of life, claimed to taste like honey. It feels like something out of an ancient, slightly disturbing myth, but for vocals,
Right? Forget vocal coaches and lemon tea. Apparently, all you need is a shot of reptile jizz. Who knew? I mean, the sheer audacity, she literally said. If you want a good vocal, you have to drink snake sperm.
Fantastic. Just what the wellness industry needed, another ludicrously expensive, completely unverified miracle cure peddled by a celebrity. What's next? Unicorn tears for clear skin? Goblin sweat for weight loss?
Don't give them ideas, Nina. But seriously, the internet is losing its collective mind. Half the people are gagging. The other half are probably Googling where to buy snake sperm supplement.
it speaks volumes about our current culture, doesn't it? This desperate search for quick fixes, for secrets held by the elite, even if those secrets sound utterly grotesque. We've become disconnected from actual nature, so we grasp at these bizarre, commodified versions of it.
From a marketing perspective, though, it's genius in a horrifying way. Look at us. We're talking about it. It's shocking. It's shareable. It generates clicks. Whether it's real snake stuff or just cleverly named sugar syrup, it's pure T. Barnum.
So you think she's just trolling everyone? Like, this is peak Jessica Simpson pulling our leg? Remember the whole chicken of the sea thing? Maybe she's just leaning into that ditzy persona for laughs or clicks. Like Nina said,
It's possible, or it's a calculated brand move. Create outrage. Get headlines. Maybe launch some other product off the back of the controversy. She knows how to stay relevant. Selling snake jizz, or pretending to, is certainly one way to do it. It's trashy, but potentially effective branding for a certain market.
It feels exploitative somehow, preying on people's hopes or insecurities with something so fundamentally strange. Is beauty or talent really worth that? It makes the pursuit itself seem tainted.
okay, but can we circle back to the taste? Like honey, how the hell would she know? Did she and me test it? This batch of Python needs a little more clover, perhaps. Who milks the snakes? I have so many questions.
The logistics are baffling and slightly nightmarish. I'm picturing tiny snake milking machines. It's absurd.
Oh, I'm sure there's a highly scientific process involving sterile lab equipment and ethically sourced, free-range snake studs, or more likely. It's flavored corn syrup with a label designed to make headlines. Yet her description is just marketing 101 mask. The potential horror was something sweet and familiar. Nobody's buying tastes like reptile regret.
Reptile regret? I love it. New band name called it. But yeah, it's probably just bullshit flavoring. Still, the image she planted in everyone's head, chef's kiss, pure chaotic energy.
It taps right into that whole Gwyneth Paltrow goop sphere, doesn't it? Beasting therapy, vampire facials, jade eggs. Celebrities pushing the boundaries of wellness into the realm of the utterly bizarre and often pseudoscientific. Snake semen is just the next logical or illogical step.
It's a modern form of alchemy, perhaps, trying to transmute base elements, or in this case, bodily fluids into gold, whether that's vocal talent, eternal youth, or just viral fame. There's a desperation in it.
Yeah? Remember when people were drinking charcoal? Or putting weird shit up their butts for cleansing? This snake stuff fits right in. Next week, someone will be snorting powdered mummy dust. for better memory. I'm calling it now.
And people will buy it, cheeky, especially if it comes in sleek packaging and has a celebrity endorsement. The wellness market thrives on novelty and the placebo effect, wrapped in aspirational branding. Snake sperm is just today's shiny, slightly slimy new object.
Okay, Queen Nina dropping the market truths. But let's get back to the fun part. Snake puns. We absolutely have to. It would be irresponsible not to.
I don't know if I have the things for it. Does it come with a historical guarantee?
Yes, all of you goddess. Okay. Maybe Jessica thinks it to her voice. Or perhaps it helps her scale the high notes.
Are we done? Can we constrict this conversation back to reality? This is giving me a headache.
Never. This is comedy gold. Maybe the snakes were charmed into donating? So perhaps it's a Cobra acetic blend? Come on, Nina. Don't be such a viper in the grass.
I'm just saying, while you two are making dad jokes, Jessica Simpson is probably laughing all the way to the bank, having successfully hijacked the news cycle with literal snake oil. She played the game and won this round.
There's a truth to that. The absurdity is the shield. It deflects serious criticism because it's so outlandish, yet it achieves the goal of capturing attention. It's a strange, modern form of power.
Okay. Maybe Nina has a point. It's a masterclass in getting attention, whether you find it hilarious or horrifying. She knew exactly what she was doing posting that. Total chaos agent? But seriously, imagine the pitch meeting for this product. Okay, team, we need something new, something disruptive for vocal health. How about snake jizz? Johnson, you're promoted.
Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me. In the attention economy, shock value is currency. The more bizarre, the better. This story is proof.
It leaves you wondering, though, what threshold won't be crossed for fame or perceived self-improvement? It's a question that lingers like a strange aftertaste, perhaps like honey?
Or perhaps like reptile regret. Either way, Jessica Simpson, you magnificent weirdo, thank you for this gift you've given us. Well, you've given us snake sperm to talk about. And for that, we are bizarrely grateful. What a time to be alive. Okay, strap in, because I stumbled down a rabbit hole that's wilder than anything on reality TV. We're talking about the super duper rich, you know? The tech gods from Silicon Valley, supposedly building secret lairs to hide in when the world goes to shit, like actual luxury bunkers, hidden away in remote corners of the globe, ready for them to jet off to when, I don't know, zombies attack or the nukes fly? Is this real life or are we living in a goddamn movie plot? Are they seriously planning to just ditch the rest of us plebs?
Wait, bunkers? Like fallout shelters but fancy? I thought that was just paranoid internet chatter. Is there actually proof?
It's more than chatter, Ayla. The rumors have been swirling for years, but it's becoming increasingly concrete. I was looking into this. Recently, there was confirmation just last year, 2025 apparently, from a company that actually builds these high-end luxury bunkers. They admitted finally, after years of speculation, that they've shipped completed underground shelters to clients in New Zealand. So yeah, it's happening.
Holy shit, New Zealand? Seriously? So it's not just some dude digging a hole in his backyard. These are professionally built panic rooms for the apocalypse?
There have been specific whispers too, haven't there? I remember reading something about the CEO of Reddit supposedly buying a massive ranch out there, complete with an underground shelter. And wasn't there talk about Peter Thiel, the PayPal guy, having some kind of escape plan down there too?
Oh yeah, the list is probably longer than we think. It's gone from conspiracy theory to a verifiable trend among a certain of society. The kind of people who think buying an island is like us buying a new pair of shoes.
Okay, but why is this the thing everyone's losing their minds over online? Rich people buy weird shit all the time. What makes billionaire bunkers prime meme material? Is it just because it sounds so ridiculously dystopian? Like something straight out of Don't Look Up.
I think it taps into something deeper, Kiki. It's the visual, isn't it? The image of the wealthiest people on Earth, who arguably benefited most from the way the world is, literally plotting their escape from it. It's incredibly symbolic. It screams inequality. It feels like a real-life version of Elysium, when tiny fraction gets a golden ticket off a dying planet, or out of a collapsing society, while everyone else is left behind to deal with the fallout. That resonates because, frankly, it feels sickeningly plausible.
Exactly. The virality isn't just about gawking at rich people's eccentricities. It's fueled fueled by genuine anger and a sense of betrayal. You see it in the comment sections, the forums, the dark humor. All those memes of Jeff Bezos chilling on Mars while Earth burns, or Zuckerberg live streaming from his geothermal-powered bunker. It's funny, but it comes from a place of real resentment. People feel like the elites are preparing to cut and run.
Yeah, no kidding. It feels like they're saying, thanks for the trillion suckers, we're out of here. It's the ultimate middle finger.
And that brings up the unavoidable moral dimension. Is it ethically defensible? These are individuals with unimaginable resources that could potentially be used to, prevent the catastrophes they're planning to flee from, fix the systems they profited from. Instead of investing in solutions, they're investing in escape hatches. It feels profoundly cynical, like giving up on the rest of humanity.
There was a piece in The Guardian years ago that nailed it. It talked about how these tech billionaires are essentially building fortresses to survive a societal collapse that, arguably, their own innovations and business practices might have contributed to accelerating. That idea that they helped create the monster they're now running from really sticks with people. It fuels the outrage.
But hold on, let's play devil's advocate for a second. Nina, you're the practical one. Would these Bond villain layers even work? If shit really hits the fan globally, can you actually just hide underground in New Zealand and be fine?
Just the $1 million, or rather, $1 billion question? Isn't it? Practically speaking, it's dubious. Think about it. You're in your luxury bunker, sure. But what about supply chains? Food, water purification systems needing maintenance, spare parts, specialized medical care? You can't bunkerize everything. And what about the locals? If the world is truly ending, do we really think the people outside the bunker, maybe the ones whose land you bought, are just going to politely let the foreign billionaire ride out the storm in peace? History suggests probably not. Desperate people do desperate things.
There's that darkly fascinating point Douglas Rushkoff made too. He spoke to some of these prepper billionaires, and their biggest fear wasn't the angry mob outside. It was their own paid security detail turning on them once the money stopped flowing or the societal structures vanished. Imagine being trapped in a bunker, utterly dependent on armed guards who suddenly realize they hold all the power. That's a horror movie waiting to happen. It speaks volumes about the trust, or lack thereof, inherent in that whole scenario.
Okay, that's some next level paranoia. Freaking out about your own hired goons? Maybe they should have just, been nicer people? Just a thought. But seriously, New Zealand as apocalypse insurance? I love that. It's so perfect. It's stable, democratic, beautiful, and most importantly, bloody far away from everything else. If you wanted to pick a spot to dodge World War III or the zombie plague, you could do worse.
Which is precisely why it's caused such a stir in New Zealand. There have been legitimate political debates there about foreign land ownership, partly driven by this trend. Some Kiwis are deeply uncomfortable with their country being marketed as the preferred lifeboat for the global elite. They don't necessarily want to be the caretakers of billionaire bunkers, while the rest of the world potentially crumbles. It changes the character of the place and raises questions about sovereignty and who benefits.
And it's not just about war or pandemics, is it? The brief mentioned these bolt holes are also seen as escapes from climate catastrophe. Buying pristine land in a place perceived as less vulnerable to rising sea levels or extreme weather, to me that's almost worse. It feels like a tacit admission of defeat on climate action by the very people whose industries often contributed significantly to the problem. Instead of leading the charge for change, they're buying premium seats for the ark. It's infuriating.
So what's the final verdict here? Are these guys just rich eccentrics being overly cautious, planning for their families like anyone with the means would? Or is it something way more sinister, a deliberate plan to abandon ship?
Honestly, it's probably a mix. Some genuine prudence, maybe. A hefty dose of paranoia, definitely. And yes, a significant serving of staggering, almost sociopathic, self-interest packaged as preparedness. They have the ultimate privilege, the ability to try and opt out of shared consequences.
Ultimately, it symbolizes a profound breakdown of trust, doesn't it? A failure of the idea that we're all in this together. When the wealthiest are literally digging holes to hide in, it sends a chilling message about their faith in the future and their sense of responsibility to the present. It makes you wonder what kind of world they foresee. and what role they imagine for themselves in it or outside of it.
Man, imagine the FOMO if the apocalypse doesn't happen and they're just stuck in their fancy holes eating freeze-dried caviar. But seriously, what do you guys think? Are these bunkers genius planning or the ultimate act of rich guy cowardice? Let us know. Personally, I'm just trying to figure out how to get on the guest list for one of these things. Kiki needs her apocalypse margarita. Okay, buckle up because the internet served up some prime content this week. We're talking Nick Subway, peak political tension, and a faceplant that deserves its own slow motion replay. So picture this, chaotic subway platform, probably smells vaguely of piss and desperation, right? There's this dude just existing, wearing a MAGA hat, standard Tuesday. Then this woman, absolutely livid, starts screaming at him, calling him a racist piece of shit, the whole 9 yards. And she doesn't just yell, oh no, she decides she's gonna be the hat police. She lunges, tries to snatch the MAGA cap right off his head, and completely beefs it. Trips over her own feet, maybe a ghost, who knows, but bam, face down on the grungy platform. It was poetry in motion, truly.
Wait, she actually fell just trying to grab a hat? That sounds less like a political statement and more like a physics experiment gone wrong.
Exactly. And the internet predictably went fucking wild. People were calling it instant karma, especially the Trump crowd. They were circulating that clip faster than free donuts at a cop station. Glorious, pure, unadulterated schadenfreude.
It's fascinating, isn't it? How quickly a moment like that becomes a symbol. People weren't just laughing at a fall. They were cheering what they saw as cosmic justice against perceived aggression. The energy around it online must have been intense.
Oh, it gets better. This crusader for hat justice wasn't some random disgruntled commuter. Get this. The woman was identified as a 55-year-old luxury fashion consultant. Let that sink in. Advising people on $1,000 handbags by day, brawling over MAGA hats on the subway by night, the duality of woman.
No fucking way. A luxury fashion consultant, so she critiques people's style choices for a living and then pulls that move in public? That's richer than her clients. Did she critique the guy's hat choice before trying to yoink it? Darling, that red clashes terribly with your political ignorance. You had spill.
It adds a layer of, shall we say, delicious irony. Someone supposedly embedded in the world of elite aesthetics, acting like she's in a dive bar brawl. It almost makes the fall funnier, knowing her day job involves judging appearances.
But it raises a serious question, doesn't it? Beyond the comedy or the irony, is it ever actually okay to physically confront someone like that over a piece of clothing, even one as loaded as a MAGA hat? Where do we draw the line between protesting an ideology and just assault?
Legally, you can't just grab people's shit. That's assault or battery. Potentially, practically, it's fucking stupid. You're asking for trouble. Freedom of speech protects his right to wear the hat. However obnoxious you find it, it doesn't protect your right to snatch it, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, like a face full of subway platform grime. Besides, what did she think was going to happen? He'd suddenly see the light? Oh my god, you tried to steal my hat and fell over. I renounced Trump immediately. Please. It's performative bullshit.
Nina's got a point. It's like that whole incident became this perfect Rorschach test for where America is right now. You see the video, and your reaction instantly flags your political team. You, one side, sees a hero taking down a racist symbol. The other sees an unhinged liberal getting what she deserved. Nobody's seeing just a clumsy woman and a guy in a hat. It's all projection. What do you see, listener? Kiki Scoops camera, yeah, I'm talking to you. Does the fall make you cheer or cringe? Tells you more about you than her, probably.
It speaks to the power of symbols. That hat isn't just cotton and thread. It's become a condensed representation of so much anger, fear, pride, and division. It's like waving a red flag literally, in this case in front of a very agitated bull. The reaction it provokes is almost primal for some.
Okay, but can we just appreciate the pure, unadulterated slapstick of it all? Politics aside, someone aggressively lunging for something and then just eating pavement? It's Looney Tunes level physical comedy. I challenge anyone not to crack at least a tiny smirk. Come on, it's objectively funny timing. You one little bit of schadenfreude, that tiny dark part of us that loves seeing someone else fail spectacularly. This video feeds on like a 5-course meal. Is it wrong to laugh? Maybe. Am I gonna stop? Probably not.
It went viral for a reason. It had all the key ingredients for internet gold in 2025. You've got the baked-in political conflict, MAGA versus anti-Trump. You've got the public freakout, which people love to watch from a safe distance. And then you have the unexpected, highly visual punchline, the faceplant. It's a perfect storm of cringe comedy and controversy.
The hat itself is the catalyst, isn't it? It's more than political affiliation. It's a cultural flashpoint. Wearing it in a place like New York City is almost an act of deliberate provocation to some, while for others, it's a simple expression of belief. That fundamental disconnect is why things escalate from differing views to, well, platform diving.
But why does the hat itself trigger such a visceral need to physically intervene? You see bumper stickers you hate all the time. You hear opinions you despise. Why does the hat make someone feel entitled to grab it? Is it the perceived in-your-face nature of wearable politics?
Honestly, I think it just shows how fucking frayed everyone's nerves are. We've gotten to a point where seeing a political symbol isn't just annoying, it feels like a personal attack to some people. So they react by attacking personally instead of, walking away or rolling their eyes like a normal fucking person.
It feels like a symptom of a larger breakdown in public discourse. We've lost the ability to disagree, even vehemently, without it spilling into actual physical confrontation. Everything feels so charged, so volatile. That subway platform is like a microcosm of the broader societal tension.
Or maybe she was just having a really bad day and the hat was the final straw. Maybe her luxury client just told her that her Birkin collection was pedestrian. We'll never know the deep motivations behind the great MAGA-hat dive of 25.
Whatever the reason, bless the internet for capturing it. It's just pure unadulterated chaos, a fashion consultant, a MAGA hat, a dramatic fall. It's like a rejected Coen brothers scene. You couldn't write it better. And she's going to be seeing that replay in her nightmares. And on Twitter, forever. The internet never forgets a good faceplant, especially one seasoned with political rage and high fashion irony. Absolutely brutal and hilarious. Okay, brace yourselves, because you are not going to believe what they've cooked up in Thailand. Forget water fights. The real main event at Songkran this year is straight out of fucking Blade Runner.
Thailand? What's happening there? Is it another political thing?
Politics? Nah, this is way weirder. They've actually deployed a real-life RoboCop. Seriously. They call it AI Police Cyborg 1.0. It's a robot cop.
A robot police officer? Kiki, are you sure you weren't just watching a movie trailer?
Nope. Swear to God, it's patrolling crowds right now. Picture this. A faceless humanoid thing, decked out in a Thai police beret and uniform. Looks like something seen at spat out after a bad night.
Faceless? That sounds incredibly unsettling. Like a walking mannequin with authority. What does it even do?
Let me guess. It hands out parking tickets with cold, metallic indifference?
Oh, it's way beyond parking tickets, Nina. This thing is loaded.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. What kind of tech are we talking about? Don't tell me it has laser eyes.
Almost. It's got 360-degree cameras, facial recognition AI, the works. It scans everyone in the crowd, looking for wanted criminals, troublemakers.
Facial recognition in a festival crowd? That's ambitious. It can supposedly detect weapons too, even with everyone likely armed with massive water guns for Songkran. The processing power required for real-time analysis in that environment is significant.
It scans everyone just constantly. That feels incredibly invasive, like your very presence in public makes you a suspect.
Exactly. It debuted at a big temple fair, hooked up to drones and CCTV, feeding data back to the human cops. The police are super proud, posting pics on Facebook, and guess what the locals nicknamed it?
Let me guess. RoboCop?
Bingo. People are freaking out online. Half are like, wow, future. And the other half are like, nope, this is creepy as hell. The memes are already glorious.
It's always the way with such advancements, isn't it? Mixed with a deep sense of unease, the nickname fits perfectly, though it captures that blend of futuristic fascination and potential menace.
Okay, but the real question, imagine this thing rolling up during the water festival. What happens if some drunk tourist nails it square in the face with a super soaker full of questionable dyed water? Does it short circuit? Does it retaliate?
I imagine its warranty doesn't cover acts of Songkran. They probably waterproofed it, but bribing it? Now that's an interesting thought experiment. What's the going rate for robot silence? A can of WD-40, maybe a software update?
Yes, forget cash and envelopes. Just slip it a USB stick with some premium antivirus software. Look the other way, Tin Man, and this Norton 360 subscription is all yours.
It's darkly funny, but the thought of trying to reason with or even just interact with a faceless machine enforcing laws, it feels alienating. How do you even react when a robot scans you? Do you smile for the algorithm?
You probably just try to blend in and hope its facial recognition software is having an off day, which statistically it might be.
Okay, let's get real though. This is where it gets spicy. Is this AI RoboCop genuinely cool tech-making festivals safer? Or is it creepy? Big Brother shit paving the way for some dystopian nightmare? What do you guys think?
From a purely practical standpoint, the potential benefits are obvious. Robots can perform tedious surveillance tasks tirelessly. They can be deployed in situations dangerous for human officers. And theoretically, an AI could be less prone to human biases like racial profiling or emotional reactions. Theoretically.
Oh yeah, theoretically. Because AI never has biases baked into its code by its creators, right?
And that's exactly the point, Nina. Theoretical objectivity versus the chilling reality. Constant surveillance by a non-feeling entity changes the very nature of public space. It fosters an atmosphere of suspicion, not safety, and the potential for misuse, hacking these things, or governments using them for oppressive control. It's terrifying. It feels like sacrificing freedom for a very sterile, monitored existence.
But isn't some level of surveillance already accepted for safety? We have CCTV everywhere. This is just a mobile, more advanced version. Perhaps the efficiency gains in preventing actual crime outweigh the vague, creepy factor. For large events, identifying a potential threat quickly could save lives.
It's not vague, Nina. It's the dehumanization. It's the knowledge that you are being perpetually analyzed by an algorithm you don't understand, judged by criteria you can't see, that erodes trust, connection, the very fabric of a community. It's the difference between a human officer potentially offering help and a machine just logging data points.
Okay, Miss Philosophy, deep breaths, but she's got a point. It feels different than a camera on a pole. This thing walks among you, like a metal ghost judging your outfit.
Let's not forget the technical limitations either. Facial recognition technology is notoriously flawed, especially with diverse crowds, different lighting conditions, partial occlusions, things you get a lot of at a crowded festival. The rate of false positives could be significant. Imagine being flagged as a suspect because the AI mistook your face paint for a disguise.
Or because your features don't match the data it was trained on predominantly. That's not theoretical bias. That's documented reality. It could disproportionately target certain groups.
Great, so it's creepy and potentially racist. Fantastic innovation. Thailand, 10 points for dystopia.
It highlights the need for stringent oversight and testing before widespread deployment. The potential to remove human failings like fatigue, fear, or prejudice in high-stress situations remains a powerful argument for proponents. Maybe an emotionless cop is a fairer cop in some scenarios.
Fairer or just colder? A human officer might de-escalate a situation through understanding or empathy. A robot just follows protocols. It might enforce the letter of the law without grasping the spirit, leading to harsher outcomes for minor infractions. Does that make society better or just more rigid?
Yeah, imagine trying to talk your way out of a ticket with this thing. But officer, my dog ate my parking meter, and it just replies statement illogical. Proceeding with citation, you can't argue with code.
Maybe that's the point. Less arguing, more compliance. Some governments might find that very appealing.
Okay, which brings us to the $1 million or maybe million bot question. Could this metallic menace come here? To the US? Imagine RoboCops patrolling Times Square or Coachella.
It's not far-fetched. Private security firms would likely be early adopters for corporate campuses or high-profile events. You could see arguments for deploying them in schools for enhanced safety, which would be incredibly controversial. Your border security is another obvious potential application. The efficiency argument is strong, especially where labor costs are high.
God, I hope not. The backlash would be immense surely. We already have major debates about surveillance, police military militarization, and biased technology, adding autonomous robot enforcers feels like pouring gasoline on that fire. It represents a fundamental shift in the relationship between citizens, and this one I find deeply disturbing.
Oh, the protest would be wild. People trying to spray paint its sensors. Hack it to play Rick Astley. It'd be chaos. But you know some people would absolutely demand it. Put one on every corner. Stop the crime. They wouldn't give a shit about privacy.
There's definitely a market for perceived security, no matter the cost to civil liberties. Wrap it in the flag and call it progress.
It really is like we're living in the prequels to RoboCop or Terminator, except it's less cyborg fighting crime and more emotionless drone scanning your face while you're trying to enjoy a festival. Less exciting, way creepier. Where's Judge Dredd when you need him? At least he had some personality, even if it was just grunting, I'm the law.
It's the reality of AI integration. It's often less dramatic than sci-fi. The ethical implications are just as profound, if not more so because it creeps in subtly.
It forces us to confront what we value more, absolute security, managed by potentially flawed and opaque algorithms, or the messy, imperfect freedom of human interaction and judgment. Handing over authority to machines we don't fully control, it feels like a gamble with potentially irreversible consequences. What happens when the watchers decide we're the problem?
Damn, Ayla, ending on a cheerful note there. Seriously though, this Thai RoboCop thing, it's definitely one to watch. Could be a weird footnote, or the start of something much, much bigger.
Either way, the debate about AI and law enforcement is only going to intensify. This is just the first wave.
Let's hope we navigate it with wisdom, not just technical capability.